Reflection on curriculum implementation. Starting with table of content. I'm going to talk about school, grade, learners, abilities, implemented curriculum, elements of curriculum, reflection on implementation, reflection on curriculum design. First of all, in my seventh teaching practice, I had been training at Al Karan School for basic education, cycle 1 for boys and girls. This school located at Ras Al Khaimah Al Kharan. I had been at school every day from Sunday to Thursday for 3 weeks. I taught grade 3 boys. They were 25 Emirati students, and their ages were between 9 to 10 years old. Okay, most of them were high ability in English. Some of them were middle, and rest of them was low ability students at English. I found out their levels through their assessment during each lesson. During teaching them, I noticed that some of them have a good writing and speaking skills that matches grade 3 and the minister's standards, but their reading and listening skills need more attention to improve them. Uh, Also, they have a good vocabulary and understand grammar, such as noun, verb, and adjective. Uh, Means the four parts, the main parts of speech. Um, that matches grade 3 level, and they can use them effectively to speak and write their sentences. Uh, I touched that they were motivated to learn and followed the classroom rules, which made me create protective lessons. Let's move. Okay. I will reflect on my teaching of 4 lessons, which were part of a unit of grade 3 curriculum, Bridge to Success, volume 2, materials 2019 to 2020. This is their book, and the title of the unit, our unit 7, Our Green Earth. Uh, Now we'll talk about elements of curriculum. As I said, this is unit 7. The title of the unit is Our Green Earth. So let's start with content. The main content was to learn the ways can we do to save our earth, um, while the general outcomes were to learn rules that we should follow them to keep environment and earth clean, and learn about parts benefits of a tree and how can we save it. Mm, Finally, how ask and answer questions by using what is this, what are these, this is, and these are. Okay, let's move. These were 15 learning objectives in this unit. Mm, the colored learning objectives are the ones that I have taught. Also, I have changed the learning objectives that I taught, where the others learning objectives are as they are appeared in the teacher guide. Mm, let's start with first learning objective. Identify the signs of the rules that should follow in the park, such as no cycling, don't drop litter, don't pick flowers, no ball games, and no running. Number two, identify the parts of tree and recognize the benefits for each part. Number three, identify how can we save trees. Number four, to ask and answer questions by using what is this, what are these, this is, and these are. Number five, to talk about the importance of saving trees and what happens when trees are cut down. Number six, to read simple sentence about what the world would be like without trees, to read and follow a series of instructions. Number seven, to write sentence about rules at school using we can and we mustn't, to write three facts about trees. Number eight, to read a story with words containing the long O sound. Number nine, to listen to and identify words with long O sound in a poem and when hearing a partner say individual words. Number 10, to use that and those when asking and answering questions. Number 11, to write instructions for growing a bean plant. Number 12, to read a biographical text about Wangari Maathai. 13, to write a simple autobiography. 14, to read and answer question and reflection statements. Finally, to listen and evaluate the presentations. Let's move uh, for activity and tasks. The main activities and tasks to teach the contents were to post students speaking, reading, listening, and writing. Thus, each lesson included 1 to 2 activities that required students to use those skills. So here we can see 4 examples for each skill. The first listening activities, the students did this activity in their learner's book. Speaking activities in the second picture. It's a tree and like a puzzle. I stick questions on it. The students have had to flip and write the puzzle. What am I? For example, a part of a tree. I give you fresh air to breathe. What am I? Then the students have to answer questions. Um, Reading activity. There here it's reading activity in learner's book. The students read information about trees. Then I asked a question about what they were reading. And finally, in writing activity, uh, there are some pictures to find out and help them to get idea how can we save trees. So students uh, wrote ideas about it. Uh, Now with assessment, I used formative assessment each end of lesson to check their understanding. They form of formative assessment were worksheets, activity book, poster, and puzzle, um, while summative assessment were ministries, quizzes, and project. Here I put some assessment I did uh, like worksheet here. Students cut the picture and sort them. What idea can save our trees and what ideas can hurt our trees. So next assessment, fruit game. The student look at the picture to look at the fruit. If it's singular or plural, then write down question, what is this or what are these, depending on singular or plural fruit. And they answer question they wrote. This is, for example, a banana, or these are mangoes. In activity book, the assessment was about uh, doing poster about what will do to save tree. So each student had to draw own idea can do it to save tree. In a quiz, here we have new vocabulary that taught in the lesson. So I provide them many pictures, and they had to write down each picture for it under each write new vocabulary under each picture. Uh, from turtle to joker assessment. This is strategy. I got it from Minotaur, so I applied it with them. This strategy means the level of questions comes from easy to harder. If students was able to answer whole questions, that means the students in high level. If he stop in second question, he is in middle level. If only is able to answer first question, that means he is low. So I did, then I got this three example for high level, for high students. He was able to answer all questions um, despite of some mistakes, grammar and spelling. The second one, he was able to answer first question, the second question, but in the third section of a question, he only write the name of apple, a name of fruit. In the low level, the students only was able to answer first section of question, and the second section he tried to answer, but he was trouble to him, and he was not able to try to write or to answer third question. Infrequently, I tried to did research about this uh, strategy, but I didn't find anything about it. But I think it's helpful for teacher to uh, did out or to do assessment. One assessment can we do for differentiation, and she will able to um, figure out the levels of students. Okay. Listen. Okay. When I have when I now we are going to talk about the timing. Each lesson was taught at a regular 45 minutes class. Um, the main resources were presentations, worksheets, markers, video, poster, puzzles, and recorders of listening. Here I put some examples what I did for resources. In the poster, uh, we there is a tree, and we wrote the parts of tree to identify the parts of tree and what benefits for each part. And the second, it's a presentation for the lesson. The third pictures is a video. It was a man. He cut down the tree, but later he regret because uh, he was laying on the tree, and when he cut down the tree, he was not able to to get rest. Um, Reflection on implementation. When I have been at school, I planned to teach 6 lessons of this unit, but my plan was changed because of coronavirus circumstance that forced us to close the school. So my mentor had to teach that lessons online. Other reasons have interrupted and delayed my plan before coronavirus happened were unexpected quizzes by ministry and field trip. So I taught 4 lessons from this unit. Sometimes when students finish their quizzes, um, I I was teaching them about some lessons have taught before, or read some uh, stories related what they learn lessons, in improvised lessons, to because the ministry's quizzes uh, were about 20 minutes or 15 minutes, so the rest of class I did something benefits for them. Okay, while my teaching, I used the teacher guide provided by Monitor to prepare my lessons and to find out what is targeted content that should be taught. The guide included details about learning objectives, resources, prior knowledge, activities, skills, assessment, and outcomes, but basing are missed in this curriculum. There's no mention to the time for length of lesson or length for activity. So that's why I defined it one session 40 about 44 minutes to each lesson. Finally, the learning objectives. The learning objectives in the teacher's guide were not clear. For example, here I put example one of guide learning objectives was to understand an information a tree. That I had to change it to identify the parts of a tree and each part's benefits. Uh, I was able to provide targeted activities, enable students to achieve learning objectives, and I was clear to what I would to measure at the end of the lesson. Uh, so my suggestion is the formulation of learning objectives very clear, and in the next revision of curriculum I should be specific of what exactly students will learn at the end of each lesson. That was the end of our presentation.